Hi everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Relegation Rescue at Renhe Beijing in the Chinese Super League. Things are not going great. A couple of 3-1 losses so far mean that we still sit bottom and we're about 6 or 7 points behind everybody else to safety. So we do need to pick up some points. The problem we've got in the next 3 or 4 games, we're playing lots of the top 5 just like we have done so far. This is a tricky one, this one, but let's see how we get on today. Welcome back to Renhe Beijing. So it has been really tricky. We haven't done so well. In recent results, we've got a couple of 3-1 losses since we took over. We've played some difficult sides, Tianjin and Wuhan and Zhejiang and Guangzhou. They're all in the top sort of 6 of the league, sort of in and around that. Maybe Guangzhou aren't, but most of them are. And this is going to be really, really hard over the next few games to pick up enough points to get momentum back on our side. But we're going to have to try and do it somehow. So the first thing that we have done to try and allow us to do that is we have brought in some new players. So let's check them out. So last episode, we introduced you to this guy, Jun Zhan. And he has come into the club to play as a rotating striking option. We do have a number 1 striker now that I'll introduce you to in a second, but at least we've got options. All of these players are going to have things missing from their attributes, so that's the level of football we're playing at. It's just about finding the best green attributes for the roles that I want them to play. So Jun comes in, Juan, maybe one or the other. Who knows? Juan, he comes in as another central defensive option, and we needed them. We had a real lack of central defenders in this squad, and so we needed to bring in options. So he comes in and unfortunately is a little bit below fitness just at the moment, so can't come in and play today, but potentially will do very soon. So there's an option in central defence for us. Yang is our number 1 striker, 14 in finishing, 12 in composure, 12 off the ball, lacks a lot of stuff elsewhere as most of these players do, but at 20 years old I'm hoping for big things from this guy for the second half of the season, and to be honest he's already played one game for us and got a goal as well, so all in all not too bad. And Yang, I expect big things. Let's see if he can deliver them in the remainder of the season. Pinan comes in as another sort of holding central defensive player. Good opportunity to get more rotating options. This guy will not play too regularly for me. I am very much aware of how he's lacking a lot of stuff, but it's the best I could find as another option in that central defensive unit. Unfortunately, he's going to have to play today because a couple of our central defenders are now injured. Very, very small injuries, but I don't want to risk them for the games coming up. So Pinan comes in, won't play a lot, does play to get today. That's going to be tricky. Kang is another one that comes in, this time into our central midfield. Good player, this one, I think. Some leadership in there, which is good. Passing is strong. Technique is strong. Could do with a little bit more physicals, but that's par for the course here. But overall, I think he can come in and do a job for us, and we'll play in the attacking Metzala role today in our current setup. So watch out for him. Peng comes in as an option in the defensive midfield area. We've got a couple of defensive midfielders, and he comes in and can play that kind of role. Not necessarily on the defensive midfield line, normally on the central midfield line. Even so, just having a ball winner or 2 in there is a good idea. So he'll come in and do that job. And he brings some experience again, 35 years old, so his physicals are going completely. But there's some good mentals in there, and that may help us in the coming weeks. So one more to do, and this is how are you? I'm struggling, to be honest. But anyway, Yu comes into the club and plays as a number 1 goalkeeper. Again, lots of gaps, but better than we've had before. And that's all I can ask at this point. So he will come in and hopefully he'll do a good job for us. We'll have to wait and see. So those are the players that have come in. We haven't really let anybody go because we needed as much as we could to stay in the squad because we were already struggling for players, really. So the recent results haven't been good. Let's see if against Tianjin, who sit in second position, we can do any better today. Now, I'm not a huge fan of gegenpress football. If I'm honest, I prefer a bit more of a passing orientated style of game, but when needs must, you have to go with it because it's quite good in Football Manager terms. And I think this setup of 5 in midfield suit it better than the fluid counter-attack that we were using. We haven't got the pace in the side to counter-attack. And also, I found in the last couple of games specifically, if you let people attack you, they score goals. And we can't afford to let that happen. So we're going into the gegenpress. We'll see how we cope with it. It might mean that it wipes half of these players out in one foul swoop and they can't physically do the next match. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But this is the first opportunity to play it. The thing that's changed in the lineup is that we've got a couple of our new players playing. Yang plays up top. Kang plays in central midfield. Pinan, unfortunately, has to play in defence. He's not my number one choice, but there we go. And Hugh starts in the goalkeeping position. The issue for us today is Clayton has picked up a knock and is out for a little while. As a central defender, he's reasonably good, isn't he, compared to what we have. I think, ultimately, where's he gone? Juan is going to be as good potentially. I think he's worth having in the squad, but I can't really risk either of them today. So both of them are out of the starting lineup. What it does mean, because Clayton is out, is that one of our foreign player spots opens up. So Alex Song gets a chance to play in midfield. We haven't got the chance to play all of our foreigners in one go because of the restrictions on the rule that the club have not been paying attention to be honest. But anyway, there's nothing I can do about that now. We have to work with what we've got. I'm trying to move a couple of them on if I can, but they're the best players in the squad, and that's very difficult to do. So for today's match, it's going to be tricky against second place Tianjin. We go with Yu in goal, Bo Yang at right back, Felipe at left back, Pinan and Yang in central defence, Mulumbi Song and Kang in central midfield, Yung Jing on that attacking central midfield role, Pereira on the right, and Yang up top. And a few more on the bench that I'm not going to go through because I'll just make myself look even sillier trying to pronounce all the names. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've pumped the fists and told them that I expect to go out there and show me what they've got and show me that they've got what it takes to play at this level. There are places up for grabs in this side at the moment because I've got to figure out how to get the best out of this group of players. And they're going to have to play well to help me do that. So let's see if we can do that. Tianjin get the first opportunity off a corner. We do get it partially cleared, but they pick it up again in midfield and come back at us through the centre of the pitch. Quite nice one-touch passing there. Opens up a little bit of space for them, just a small amount, and they make it count. After 1 minute and 45 seconds in the game, they make it count. And again, we go down really early. Some really great passing play, wasn't there? There really was. It was very nice one touch. And that is through the eye of a needle, that particular pass. And we go 1-0 down after 1 minute and 45. And the gegenpress is working really well, isn't it? Oh dear, this is going to be so tricky. So tricky. I don't even know whether we're going to be able to succeed at this one or not. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, it's been really hard. Kang on the ball, but loses out in midfield. And finally, Bo Yang, got a header in. But again, it went straight back to them. Again, the headers go straight back to them. That attacking midfield line is not quite in the areas that we need them to pick up those loose balls, it feels like. They're dropping in potentially a little bit too deep. So, how's your world going? Tell me about your saves in the comments below. I could do with cheering up at the moment. If you're doing well, let me know. Oh boy, ball over the top. Defence got taken out. Pinan, I told you I didn't want him to be playing today. These two central defenders are not my two number one choice central defenders. The other two are. And it's showing, isn't it? boy, is it showing. Right, we're going to have to change something. So we're going into the tactics. What can we do? We're going to drop Alex Song into the defensive midfield role. Who is playing? Young Jing is playing there. We're going to put him out wide left just to create a balance across the pitch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play wing play. Put it out to the wide areas. Play on positive if we can. And see if we can get a cross or two into the box for Yang Yang to get on the end of. But we've got to try something, haven't we? Might as well throw everything at this, really, because we've got nothing to lose now. We are so far behind. On that occasion, it was a disallowed goal. That's a very, very small margin for error on that offside, isn't it? Confirm the changes? Yes, because whether they score or they don't, they are dominating those opportunities, aren't they? We've had 3 shots at goal, 1 on target so far. They've had 7 and 3, but they're just looking more dominant every time we get a new highlight. And here is a new highlight. Let's see what happens on this occasion. So we've got the shape better, I think. We'll see what they manage to do to get through us. And they carve us up completely down the right-hand side. Again, real quick one-touch passing, which is really difficult to defend against. It's this play. Out from the feet, one touch, in. So many good one-touches there, weren't there? It's like playing Barcelona, for goodness sake. Oh, dear. And we go 3-0 down. Although, mind you, we've lost the last 2 games 3-1, so there's still a chance to match those score lines if we can get a goal. What am I talking about? Matching a 3-1 loss is a good thing. Yeah. Okay. Goalkeeper goes up to the striker in one foul kick. And we lose the ball again. And it comes back at us centrally again. Sweep it out wide right this time. Can we defend well? I suspect we might not be able to. We do get a partial clearance. But again, they're always on the loose ball, aren't they? They're always reacting quickest because we haven't got any pace in our side. And I tried to find it. And it's been a real struggle to do so far. And we go in at half-time 3-0 down. Going into the dressing room. That's it. We're throwing the water bottle. We can't allow it to continue. They've got to be motivated by this. What do we change? Let's go into the tactics. So we've played Gegenpress. We played a fluid counter-attack in the last couple of matches. That hasn't worked. We've now played the wing play. That hasn't worked. What else shall we try? Let's go and have a look here. I mean, we could park the bus, but what's it going to do? Let's try and play the game that they're playing and go really, really short passing and much slower tempo and just see if we can keep the ball for a little while. I don't know whether it'll work, but to be honest, nothing's working, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So let's see how we get on in playing the tiki-taka and just trying to keep hold of the ball as much as is possible. We'll go into the shouts, we'll demand more from them and just see whether that is enough to potentially do something in this particular game. We lose the ball momentarily, but we did win it back in the defensive area. And we win it down the left-hand side with Felipe. Gets an opportunity to cross the ball. Doesn't take it, though. We use the tiki-taka and we're trying to play those short passes. And maybe we've stumbled across something. But Young Jing, with a very good attempt from on the edge of the box, puts it into that bottom corner. And we go 3-1. Can we do better than the 3-1 that we've had for the last 2 games? Some good play there. Yang Yang held the ball up nicely, puts it off to Yong Jing, and he puts the ball nicely in that bottom corner. Good goal. Let's see if there's more to come from that. Bo Yang on this right-hand side into Song in central midfield. Pereira takes over, turns, and we get to play at the top of the penalty box again. Tried to thread it through again. Don't quite make it on this occasion. And Tianjin get a chance to counter-attack on us. But a good block by Song in the defensive, in the penalty box. But it gets swept over to that far-hand side. And they absolutely welly it home. And we go 4-1 down. So, yeah, bring back the days of 3-1, hey. This is a tricky game to play. Anyway, as soon as this highlight goes, we're going to pause the match after the highlight ends. And we're going to go in and make a couple of personnel changes and just see what we can do. Felipe's struggling with an injury, so he's going to have to come off. We've only got our right-sided defender on, so we're going to have to put him in there. So that's unfortunate. We'll get him to play the inverted role just because, and we'll put him on defend. We've got a couple of issues further up the pitch. The likes of Pereira aren't playing well, so we'll play Renhe out wide instead. He can't really play there, but to be honest, what difference does it make at this point? And we can make one more change. And Alex Song is not doing great for us. I expected better from him. I mean, he's got no physicals or anything these days, but I still expected him to come in and do something with the experience that he's got. But we'll put in Peng instead and just see what he can do for the last, 25 minutes of the game. It's going to be a real tough watch, I suspect. But yeah, again, we lose it in midfield. Again, they get a chance to work it to a wide area. Send it back through midfield, which is where we got a few players. But it doesn't seem to matter too much, does it? Did he let that go out for a corner kick? He didn't quite. Okay, well, whether he did or he didn't, they didn't make the most of it either way. So we'll see. 78 minutes gone. We've got 12 minutes to go. And again, it's a free kick for Tianjin. And this occasion, there was a bit of a wayward header there. It gets sent back to the top of the box. And he wellies it again over the top of the bar. They've had a lot of attempts. 13 at goal, but only 6 on target. And that's where they've potentially could have even put us more to the sword. But we've had 9 shots ourselves. Only 3 on target, and that's where we're losing, really. We're not got enough quality in front of goal, and I don't really know how to change that. Would you play a real narrow formation and put both Yungjing and maybe Renhe in these central attacking midfield areas and just play straight through the middle, maybe? Use the fullbacks for width? I don't know. It's all very tricky, isn't it? We've tried 3 or 4 different structures of play, couple of different formations. Nothing has quite worked out so far. And today, we got beaten 4-1. So unfortunately, that loss does put us even more behind. We're about 7 points away from safety now. 3 losses in a row, 3 big losses in a row, really, unfortunately. And it's not going to get any better. Wuhan sit in 3rd position, and that's the next match. But the next match for us, in terms of the episodes, is Zhejiang, and they sit in 4th. Oh, why do I put myself through this stuff? Relegation rescues are really, really hard. Let me know what you would do in the comments below. How would you change it? How would you play this particular group of players in a division where they're really struggling? Would you make it ultimately very physical, or would you try and outplay and get the ball down and keep the ball away from opposition? Would you go right in their face? Would you sit right back? Any help would be great. Let me know what you would do. Anyway, it's going to do it for today. We'll be back for Zhejiang next episode. I don't even know how to say any of these names. The world's gone mad. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, join me for next episode. Thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Still looking lovely behind me and stuff, isn't it? That's great. It's just the actual episodes that are really awful. Anyway, come back next time. We'll see what happens next. Bye for now.